The Leeds Rhinos begin the defence of their crown and their bid to retain their Super League title in 2008, and so become only the second team to retain that title. St Helens 1999 and 2000 won 2 grand finals in a row, and they begin the defence against Hull Kingston Rovers, whose last away win at Leeds came 22 years ago, November 1985. But the Leeds Rhinos, they will be full of it. They will be very, very confident indeed. And Rovers, well, they're hoping to end a 10-game losing sequence here at Headingley tonight. And in 1985, Rovers, strangely enough, were the reigning champions. Roger Millward was their coach. This is the way the Leeds team lined up. The backs, Brent Webb, Lee Smith, Clinton Tupy, Keith Senior, Scott Donald, Danny Maguire and Rob Burrow. The forwards, Kylie Luluai, Matt Diskin, Jamie Peacock. Ian Kirk comes in for Jamie Jones-Buchanan, who is a late withdrawal. Gareth Ellis partners him in the second row, and Kevin Sinfield is the prolific point-scoring skipper for the Leeds Rhinos at loose forward. And on the bench, it's Ali Lauatiti, Ryan Bailey, Nick Scruton, who was named as 18th man. He gets a chance tonight because of Jamie Jones-Buchanan's absence, and Carl Ablett. And the coach, the new man at the helm at Headingley, it's Brian McLennan. Now, Hull Kingston Rovers, Sean Briscoe at fullback, Peter Fox, Chev Walker returning to Headingley, of course, Jake Webster, Daniel Fitzhenry. There are 5 new faces there. Chris Chester takes the place of the suspended Paul Cook, and James Webster is the scrum half. The forwards, Michael Vella, who is the new skipper, Kirk Netherton, who replaces the injured Ben Fisher, and David Mills, Clint Newton, Ben Gallier and Scott Morrell completing the lineup. And on the bench, it's Garrett Crossman, Stanley Jean, Ben Cockayne and Makaili Azu, and the coach is Justin Morgan. The Rovers fans have travelled here in great numbers for this opening night fixture. Justin Morgan and their team, the busiest of the close season, 10 new signings, and 15 of last year's playing pool have now moved on. They come, the Rovers, and it's a big night for Michael Vella as he leads the team onto the field in Super League for the first time as their club captain. It's also a big night for Chev Walker, who of course is playing against Leeds, his former club, and Walker still lives in this city. Well, the Rhinos have got their new coach on board, but no new signings. Brian McLennan denied Australia the 2005 Tri-Nations trophy and came within an ace of doing so again in 2006 when New Zealand lost in extra time. All of the Super League title-winning squad retained. McLennan's aim is to top the table, try and take the league leader's shield away from St Helens. That's what he wants to do, and then go on to retain the Super League crown, of course, at Old Trafford. And Brian McLennan and Kevin Sinfield as captain will be desperate to get off to a good start. Now, 1 or 2 new interpretations of the laws you should look out for tonight. Loose forwards in the scrum now cannot trap the ball at the back of the scrum to try and catch the opposition offside. The ball's deemed to be out of the scrum when it's emerged from between and behind the second row of forwards. The referee will stand on the 10 metres at the play of the ball, act as a guide to the players, and the referee's front foot this year will mark the 10 metres, so they'll have to all stand in line with him. No 1 foot on the line and 1 foot in front anymore. A penalty try will not result anymore now when a ball is stolen by a defensive player, when a player in possession is in his opponent's goal area and he's being tackled by another defender, but a penalty will be awarded. And from the optional 20-metre restart, the ball's kicked out and bounces in the field of play before going into touch. A scrum will be awarded with head and feet awarded to the kicking team. Plenty then for Richard Silverwood to think about here tonight. He is the man in control. He's under pressure as well, Phil.
Yes, he is, and Eddie, you know, Super League has brought many new things, but there's their oldest season ticket holder, Cliff Smith, 98 years of age, season ticket holder, doesn't miss a game here.
Fantastic. First time he came, I believe, 1918. Unbelievable. Kevin Sinfield gets us underway, then start of this brand new season. There is James Webster, here is the Hull Kingston Rovers skipper Mick Vella, and there's the first tackle of 2008. And Leeds looking very, very swift downfield to follow that kick-off up.
Not surprisingly, KR will just take it nice and steady, try to get into a good position before they get the kick downfield. But you can see already that the Rhinos mean business. They are getting there in numbers.
It's the third tackle for Hull Kingston Rovers here, and wonderful Leeds defence early on.
This is going to be the big problem, though, for the dummy half position. Kirk Netherton, the hooker, they really will miss Ben Fisher. He's a man that normally keeps everything on the tick with this Kingston Rovers side. That's not the best kick, right down the throat.
And it's Lee Smith who picks it up for the Leeds Rhinos. Tackled by Kirk Netherton. And Vella in there very quickly again, with a little bit of help from Clint Newton. He was released by Newcastle Knights last year after 7 years there, Clint Newton. Son of the legendary golfer, of course, Jack Newton. This is Kylie Luluai for the Leeds Rhinos. They cross the halfway line now, but it's good defence on show here from Scott Morrell and company.
Be interesting to see how the Rhinos utilise the last. Will it be a high one?
It is from Maguire. That will hang in the air here. Briscoe is underneath it, and Sean Briscoe, the man who was at Hull FC, the black and white side of the city of Kingston upon Hull last year, he deals with that quite competently.
Under a lot of pressure, Briscoe, but he really is a fine fullback. It was a wonderful signing by Justin Morgan. As Eddie already mentioned, I think it's 10 players that they've brought into the squad. They did exceptionally well, though, Eddie, and when you think about it, you know, a lot of people thought perhaps they would struggle throughout the season, but Hull Kingston Rovers had a really good start to last year, and I think that's what they were looking for this time. That's a better kick.
It's over the top of Brent Webb. He catches it, as you see, right in the corner of the field. Good chase as well, led by the kicker, Webster. And Netherton was very quickly out of the blocks as well. Kirk Netherton, of course, who was here at Headingley as a junior. Good offload that from Luluai. Here is Burrow. Little dart forward by Matt Diskin. Good work. Actually, then I got the Nethertons mixed up, Steve. It's Jason Netherton who was here as the junior, not Kirk.
I'm just about to say that the Leeds really have, they've started as they left off last year, and it's much a good running from the dummy half position. Matt Diskin, he looks really fit this year. And they want to get on with the job. Obviously, the new coach, Brian McLennan, says, look, let's get onto our feet quickly.
Kick will maybe stick in the in-goal area. It's a little bit porridgey, the pitch in places.
No, very often there is the option for the side to actually kick the ball there. If it bounces in the field of play and goes over the sideline, they will actually get the head and feet of the scrum. Hence the reason why the Leeds wingers actually drop back there. So over the course of the season, I think we'll see that 20-metre restart become a more exciting option of counter-attacking in the game.
Yes, went quickly through the rule changes. There's the heavy state of the field here at Headingley Carnegie tonight. Of course, the rugby union team plays on the field during the course of the winter as well. And Sean McRae, it's an interesting start.
Yeah, it sure is, Eddie. Just in relation to the field, I walked across it before after coming back up to the gantry here. It is very, very soft underfoot. I don't really know who that gives an advantage to. You know, some people say that the underdog tends to be a leveler for them. I'm not really sure. All I'll say is that the fatigue factor will come in quicker for probably both these sides, because first game of the season, you don't expect your teams to be match fit. They're still working their way into it, and clearly Hull have only played one friendly. That was last week against Castleford. They did have one abandoned, and I think that might tell later in the game. But I think Leeds are probably in better shape, and but I'm impressed with the start of both sides. There's been really no error at all. Both sides prepared to just work the ball down, find an area to kick and find some space. It's been a very good start to both sides.
Chris Chester gets to his feet, plays the ball to Netherton. Here is Scott Morrell. There's the chip over the top towards the corner, but it is far too high and beats everybody. There was no chance for Daniel Fitzhenry to get that. There's Brian McLennan, the new Leeds coach. He's watched his first 5 minutes of Super League action.
Not the best kick into the corner. They'll be disappointed with that. Justin Morgan obviously realising that on that far side, Lee Smith perhaps just a little bit dodgy underneath the kick into the corner, but it was far too strong. But the defences, very tough indeed. There he is, Justin Morgan, getting out the message down to the sideline.
Very ambitious, Justin Morgan. Delighted, of course, as everybody was at the club last year. They finished 11th in the Super League table. Wants to build on that, wants to go forward now, and with the 10 new faces and some big-name signings, well, the pressure's on, I suppose, in many ways for Justin Morgan. Good kick that, and Briscoe picks it up. Here is one of their closed season signings. That was a touch high, wasn't it? A swinging arm from Maguire, I think.
Just brushed away there by the official Richard Silverwood, but it was a tremendous kick there by Rob Burrow. You could see the backspin on it. Well, maybe he made the contact across the chest first. Certainly finished it underneath the chin. But it's amazing how Leeds, they're getting there in numbers. They're not allowing any opportunity to offload. Look at that. Bang, straight into it. Third man in, no chance of trying to spin in the tackle.
It's Netherton again. He finds James Webster. He finds Sean Briscoe. Briscoe saw a gap, and then he's dragged to the ground, and the hands and arms were round the neck then of Briscoe, but he gets up, plays it to Netherton again. This is Morrell. Dabs the ball over the top, does Morrell. That's a neat little kick, and ooh, it was so close. Was he inside the 40? Don't think he was. But it was very close. It's head and feet to Leeds.
Well, he feel a lot better with that, because the first kick on the other side, a little bit too strong. I'm quite pleased with the way got themselves into a good position. And as you say, it's a bit of a pudding out there, so therefore the handling could be a bit dodgy.
I'll tell you what else could be a bit dodgy, that 20-metre line with the 22-metre line. You've got the rugby union. I know we've got a post up on the 20-metre line, but it still could be a little confusing for the players and the referee.
Good offload that was. Here is Jamie Peacock, and good tackling as well. That was by Ben Gallia. This is a good run from Diskin. Gets the ball away. Burrow retains possession for the Rhinos.
That's the reason why Leeds were so impressive last year. Their ability to make sure that when the opposition is slow to just move up, that they quick play the ball, running from dummy half. They get over the advantage line so effectively.
Diskin again. Diskin then to Danny Maguire. Dabs the ball in between the two defenders close to the line. Briscoe again picks the ball up. Maguire following up with a little bit of help from Gareth Ellis.
You could see
Briscoe
there.
will stand, play the ball to Chris Chester.
You could see there, Eddie, how well disciplined this Leeds outfit is. There hasn't hardly been a tackle from the Leeds outfits without them being at least 3 players in there.
Eddie, you asked before the game what effect Leeds' game against South Sydney in America last week would have. I think it's been a very positive one, because at the moment they're playing at a higher speed and greater intensity than Hull Kingston Rovers. They really have begun this game well.
They have, and they've certainly been very active during the close season. They've, albeit with junior sides, but they have gradually introduced their senior players into the team. And there's an inventive little kick down the line by Briscoe, but it's gobbled up by Scott Donald.
Good combination as well. Briscoe chiming into the 3-quarter line very effectively indeed. The one thing that I've noticed so far, okay, we're nearly 10 minutes into this game, but Kirk Netherton, the hooker, all he's done is just farm the ball out wide from dummy half. Now that can be effective in many ways, but it's not applying any pressure to the Leeds markers 1 and 2. He's got to start a little bit of foray running with the ball before offloading.
Diskin to Ellis, he was nearly through. Desperate defence from Rovers. Leeds have just upped the ante a bit in this set of 6. Nice little dab over the top again from Danny Maguire. Finds the ground. It's picked up by Peter Fox. And Peter Fox, he gets the ball away to Briscoe, and Briscoe steps inside. One attacker comes forward. It's a great run. He had to duck underneath the Peacock swinging arm then.
Good job he did as well. Saw the left arm swinging right towards the nostrils. But great work. You've got to give them full credit. You know, Peter Fox, it looked as though he was just going to sit safety first. There you saw the incident where Peacock nearly took his head off.
Good offloading here from Rovers. Wide it comes. This is Chev Walker. Chev Walker knows every blade of grass here at Headingley. Gets the ball inside to Webster. Good tackling though by Brent Webb.
Super play by Rovers.
Netherton again gets it away to Walker once more, and Walker is prepared to take them on. Danny Maguire and Keith Senior bring him down.
Much
Netherton
better
once again.
Much better from Netherton there. You saw that he run from dummy half, got the half break.
Good hit by Kylie Luluai. There's a chance of an opening then for Ben Galea. There's Chester's down to the in-goal area, and that is too deep.
Well, he realises that the pudding or the porridge, it wasn't heavy enough to stop that ball, far too heavy.
Now then, there's the first attempt by Kevin Sinfield. He had the first attempt there by Kevin Sinfield for the optional restart from the 20-metre line, and I think he went for the touch to get head and feet at the scrum further on downfield, but he didn't quite get the angle right.
And that's the problem with that kick. If it doesn't come off, you can see where Hull KR have been able to return the ball to, just outside the 40-metre line of the Leeds try line, and they're in a bit of trouble, Leeds, because they are walking. That was a poor play by Kevin Sinfield. He needed his team to settle. They were really under the hammer then.
And they're under the hammer now here from Michael Vella.
The biggest problem with Leeds at the moment, they can't handle Chev Walker and Jake Webster. Two big guys in the centres, they're making inroads.
Here's Chris Chester now. Chester gets the ball away. Briscoe has seen plenty of it so far tonight. He is eventually hauled to ground by Jamie Peacock. It's Netherton. Netherton, short ball, hits the deck, knock on, and the chance goes begging. Jake Webster, the man who put the ball down.
Just a little bit behind him, but a good idea to come through. You can see he just had to lean back with his right arm. This is a new rule. If it goes into touch, it has to bounce, of course, can't go out on the full. Then they get the head and feed. A good rule as well, but what about the run there from Jake Webster? Made 40 metres downfield. Excellent stuff. Leeds know they're in a game.
In the preview to the game, Eddie, you asked what it took to actually get to the grand final and win it. And I think Leeds' defence on their own try line there is one quick summary of that. You have to be able to defend your own line when you're put under pressure. The sport of rugby league allows both sides to get to the end of the field and have a chance to attack the line. But Rob Burrow came up with a great play defending his own line. The team that does that best over the next 27 rounds in the playoffs picks up the big prize.
Totally agree with you, Phil. The only thing I'd say about Hull KR is twice now, once they've kicked the ball out on the full, once they've kicked the ball dead, then they turn the ball over on a fourth play option where they're really putting Leeds under pressure. And that's why they have been so good, Leeds, is because Hull KR have in fact helped them out. I don't disagree with what you said, because last year we saw some fantastic defence from them, including the grand final. Who can forget that?
Ryan Bailey with his first touch, and it was nearly a mess of a first touch. It's Diskin here now. Diskin ducking away from the challenges all the time, brought down eventually by James Webster. Here's Keith Senior. Senior then to Rob Burrow. Burrow gives it to Peacock, and Peacock will drive the ball in. Morell upstairs, low down, they got him as well, with the shape of the number 11 Clinton Newton. But here now is Burrow. Burrow to Maguire. Maguire, good ball. Gareth Ellis, good defence.
Great tackle there by Chris Chester down low. It had to be as well.
Chances here for Leeds. This is Sinfield, and Sinfield will dump the ball back to Maguire. Maguire will bring it back on the inside. They've got men out here if they want them. The kick bounced off one, no knock on, gobbled up by Clint Newton, and the chance goes, and there's a right mess. Oh, the referee has given the knock on.
Well, was he trying to regain his feet to play the ball? That's what the KR supporters are going to be livid about. Great work there by the skipper. Sinfield offloaded, and then he tried the kick, ricocheted away, and he came up with it. Was he trying to get to the ground? The tackle wasn't complete.
Oh, that's a
He's
penalty.
right, it should have been. But the tackle wasn't complete. That's what Richard Silverwood has deemed. More pressure for KR.
It's Webb. Webb gets it wide. This is Tupi. Good defence there by Jake Webster on Tupi. Brent Webb. This now Peacock. Peacock will drag 4 players towards the Hull Kingston Rovers goal line.
Will it be a dummy from Rob Burrow?
Here is Burrow. Back it comes to Sinfield. Sinfield gives it to Senior. Senior gets it away to Scott Donald. And Scott Donald with the first try of the new year. Scott Donald gives Leeds the advantage. But I tell you what, they'll be annoyed about that at Hull Kingston Rovers, because Leeds got the possession from the resulting scrum courtesy of a knock-on, but it looked for all the world as though it would actually should have been a penalty to Rovers.
Just basic rugby league. You could see there how Rovers' defence just hang off. You can't afford to do that. The power and upper body strength that you get from Keith Senior. This is the incident where Clint Newton, he had not been tackled. The referee's absolutely spot on. You could see there was no attempt. He lifted the arms up, and Newton really should have just carried on. Simple, basic rugby league. The big centre brings in the man to the tackle, offloads, and Donald in for what probably will be the first of the Super League season, but many more will come.
Well, he hasn't missed a game in his 2 seasons at Leeds, Scott Donald. And that's the angle that he has left to Kevin Sinfield to try and kick his first goal of the new campaign. But Scott Donald with 20 tries last year, including 2 in the 34-18 home win against Hull Kingston Rovers in August. And Sinfield has missed with his first conversion attempt of 2008.
Basic rugby league football. Look how the winger comes in. It's an open run eventually for Donald. Senior says thank you very much indeed. Basic but effective.
Well, he's been a terrific servant for them, Scott Donald, hasn't he? As I say, he hasn't missed a game in 2 seasons so far.
Eddie, can we just clarify that with Clint Newton, because I think people probably would like to understand that if Clint Newton had actually run with the ball, it would have been play on. He was entitled to get up and play. If he'd have played the ball, it would have been a voluntary tackle. So he would have got penalised there. I think, you know, that's my understanding of that rule.
Yes, when you see it at the angle that we did in the end, it's obvious that he actually was not tackled, and Mr. Silverwood got it spot on. Now Hull Kingston Rovers has conceded another penalty for a dangerous tackle. And there is a report coming in from the touch judge because of all this.
Well, to be fair, it was Daniel Fitzhenry that came in with a grapple tackle. He'll just have a few choice words said to him by the official.
Let's go down to the side and Bill.
Eddie, it was right in front of me. In actual fact, it was Ben Cockayne who was the guilty party there. He's literally only just come on the field, replacing Kate Netherton, and he is really fired up. 2 big hits, with the second of them conceding that penalty.
So Ben Cockayne on the field. He missed the last 4 of last year. Did the Rovers substitute here tonight? But he will put Sean Briscoe under pressure, because he didn't have a bad season last year. This is Maguire. Here is Webb. He gives it to Keith Senior. Such a difficult man to put down. Gets the pass away to Webb again. Ian Kirk was waiting for the offload. It never came.
Great work by the Rhinos there. That you can use in the second phase of attack, using the dummy runners running through on 2 occasions. They'll probably do exactly the same on this right-hand side.
Diskin, ooh, looked a little forward that.
Certainly delayed. Peacock didn't mind.
Bang under the sticks, the Rhinos. Diskin to dab it in. It's collected.
Oh, that was a high shot.
And the referee has seen it, I think.
I think it was Maguire that had a little bit of a lash out there. Nice option by Diskin. Yeah, it was Maguire. Swinging arm. See better from this angle. Yep. Didn't miss either. Scott Morrell would have felt that.
Not midway through the first half of the new season, we've seen quite a little bit of high shots. Let's put it no worse than that, Sean.
Well, I think, Eddie, again, you know, as coaches, what we do, we work very hard on technique. We use tackle bags, we use hit shields, we have players in body armour, we have all different things, but you can't replace being out in the middle when you've got the, you know, the combat out here, the collisions out here. And I do think in early part of the season, you've got to expect it, and I think the officials have still got to clamp down on it by all means. But certainly some players' timings won't be quite as accurate as you'd want.
Webster nearly ducks underneath Keith Senior's challenge. Senior, though, scrags the little man to the deck. Clint Newton is the dummy half. Here it goes now to Morrell. Morrell then hands it on to David Mills. 7th Super League season, and he played alongside Justin Morgan for Wales against New Zealand at Cardiff. And it was David Mills' international debut that day. Now he's playing for him in the red and white of the Robins of Hull KR. Ben Cockayne. Short ball went back. No, the referee says it was a knock-on. Good defence again from Leeds, close to their own line.
Well, it was a good move there by Justin Morgan to throw on Ben Cockayne. He's been involved there from dummy half, and he started to run from that position, and that was something that the Rovers were missing. But he just delayed the pass far too long there.
I think the referee actually called it as a forward pass, didn't he?
Yep.
Here is Sinfield with Webster. Good collision that, and Newton there to lend a little bit of weight as well.
Ian Kirkcaldy has to be an inspiration to a lot of young players who play the game. He actually was at Hull Kingston Rovers 8 years ago, then bounced around another couple of sides in the lower leagues before being given an opportunity here by Tony Smith 2 years ago, and has done remarkably well. Picked up a winner's ring at the grand final last year, and really now in his late 20s has shown that even if you don't make it in your 20 years of age, you still work hard, you can get there in the end.
Yes, he was the 2000 NFP, that was the Northern Ford Premiership in those days, Player of the Year. As you say, here he is now, operating at the very top of the tree in the Engage Super League. The 13th season of summer football. We're back with you now. Oops, that was nearly a mess. Cockayne goes the other way, finds Scott Morrell. But it's a very, very solid Leeds defence so far.
They're finding it difficult, Rovers, to get through down the middle. Better option, and they've been better served so far. They're getting just wide of the ruck.
James Webster with the kick.
Good one, too.
That could easily stay in the field of play. It does. Brent Webb will have to run this out. Brent Webb gets only as far as Peter Fox, and then Chev Walker was on hand to make sure there was no further progress forward.
Just shows you that it's so important. If it's a good kick, it gets even better if you get your wingers, especially the way that Peter Fox just raced down there. There was no way for Brent Webb to go anywhere.
Peacock, Jamie Peacock, the Leeds Rhinos prop forward. Great Britain skipper, of course, against the Kiwis. International Forward of the Year, 2 years running, 2006, 2007. Diskin couldn't get away from the challenge from Ben Galea. Played for Aussie Schoolboys in 1996, did Ben Galea. Left-footed kick downfield from Burrow. Turns Peter Fox around. He'd collect it underneath his own sticks. Run it back. Gets as far as
Tupy. He's on form though, isn't he, Rob Burrow, with that kick? He must spend hours and hours just perfecting the backspin on that football. That's the reason why. It looks as though it's far too strong, and then it just backspins and stops.
Look at the work that Burrow is doing as well around the ruck.
It's swarming defence by the Rhinos. Their new coach, Ryan McLennan, they've given him a silly penalty away.
Just on the field to replace Jamie Peacock. First involvement, he gives away a penalty.
I'm just about to say that Brian McLennan will be happy. Okay, it's only 4 points, but they are in command of this game, mainly due to the fact that the solid defence from the Rhinos.
Brian McLennan saying he is extremely honoured to be in charge of the Leeds Rhinos, and delighted, of course, that he takes over a champion side. I don't know whether it's easier to take over a side at the top or the bottom. There's only one way for either of them, isn't it? One way up and one way down.
Well, you're under pressure, aren't you? You're under a lot of pressure.
You know all about it, Sean.
Very hard to improve that team, Eddie. That's the thing. The only thing you can do is equal what they've achieved. But I was talking to him just before the kickoff, and he's very relaxed. He's enjoying his time here at the moment. He's been made feel very welcome by everybody. And I said, that's pretty typical of a coach. You will do until you start playing. Then you'll find out during the season how everyone feels about you. But he is very relaxed. He's really enjoying it, and he knows he's got a good football team.
Yes, he has, and he's also got his dad over here for company as well, and for a little bit of protection if necessary, because Mike McLennan is in town with him. This is Makaliazu for Rovers on the last tackle.
He's making the changes, isn't he? Justin Morgan, he realises he needs a little bit of zip out there. That's a good kick.
It's a great kick from Webster. Ooh, and there had to be a foot in there. I think this will be a goal line dropout.
Certainly will. Good job that
Briscoe was hunting.
Danny Maguire just got there. Tremendous how you have to read the game. He could see him breathing down his neck. Great stuff.
Stay down the kick.
We mentioned before what a great acquisition it is for this Rovers outfit, Sean Briscoe. 100% he gives every time he laces a boot, this kid.
He was underneath the goal line dropout as well. Here is Crossman, Garrett Crossman, a 2-year contract at Rovers, formerly with the Melbourne Storm. Chances limited down under, but won't be limited at Craven Park. Here's Makaliazu. Bailey had to hang on to him, and did so. Cocaine.
Good stuff. Made the mention that Kirk Netherton was not running from dummy half. Obviously playing under instructions, but Cocaine's handled that job so far.
Short ball was from Webster, and Rovers have a penalty on the Leeds line. Offside against Danny Maguire.
That's a new ruling. Your feet have to be level with the official, and they weren't.
Okay.
He's offside now.
Danny
Maguire's offside again from that tap.
Will they do the switch? Will they come the switch on the blind side? Keep your eye on Cocaine.
There is Cocaine. Passing the ball to Morrell. Oh, Morrell to Walker, and Walker was watched every inch of the way by Gareth Ellis.
Should have been standing a bit deeper there, Walker.
Chester, wide it goes. This is Jake Webster. Down he goes under enormous Leeds pressure.
What a tackle from Rodborough. Put his body on the line there.
Morrell, Makaliazu.
They have to use a dummy runner here of the Rovers. They've got to try to confuse this Rhinos defence.
Cocaine flicks the pass, takes the return. Ball comes back, and they're over on it. Is it Webster? Is it Jake Webster? Well, they're dancing on the terraces the other end of the field, and I think it is. Webster gets the congratulations, and Webster gets the first Rovers try of 2008. Jake Webster, Gold Coast Titans in 2007, Melbourne prior to that, and he's got the first try to level up the matter here at Headingley.
And the man that's made it is the man that Justin Morgan threw on there to bring out a little bit more action, and that's Ben Cocaine. Did the simple run around, the delayed pass, and he's big enough for Jake Webster. With defences so solid in Super League over the past few years, you've got to come up with something different. And they're going to bring back so many set pattern moves. A simple run around. It's been going on for years and years and years, but it's so effective. And we'll see more and more of this throughout this season. It was a tremendous effort made by Ben Cocaine, and the big fella in the centre, Jake Webster, sorry.
Well, Scott Morrell has missed with the conversion attempt. He's hit the post, but the scores are level at Headingley. He'll be annoyed with that, will Scott Morrell, former Leeds Academy prospect, but there is the try scorer. Jake Webster, 9 times a New Zealand international. Brian McLennan will know all about him, and Rovers are level.
Eddie, it's interesting when you talk about the recruiting that Hull Car have been able to do. We mentioned Jake Webster, the fact that he had been at the Melbourne Storm before he played at the Titans last year. And keep in mind that Garrett Crossman and Clint Newton have both come out of the championship team last year. So for Hull KR to be able to recruit the calibre of player, it's an outstanding feat for them. They'll be excellent players this season for sure.
Yes, they will. It's interesting that you say the two names you mentioned. In 4 weeks' time, they might have been lining up against Leeds Rhinos in the World Club Challenge.
Well,
as it is, here they are at the start of Super League.
Absolutely, they might have. And let me tell you, the Melbourne Storm are a good side. We've all seen them in action. But keep in mind, they were the grand finalists the year before when Jake Webster played for them. So the calibre of player that Justin Morgan's been able to recruit to this club is of a very, very high standing.
Well, it's rattled the cage of the Rhinos. They know they're in one heck of a battle. They seem to have control. Okay, they only had the 4-point lead after Donald scored the try.
That's good work, actually, on the ground by Brent Webb. He convinced the referee then he was doing his best to get to his feet. Look at him. And Crossman was all over the top of him, wouldn't let him get to his feet. And the referee now is explaining the rule to Clint Newton.
I don't think he was too impressed either, the official, with the way that Chris Chester went for a second little dabble there. Roger Millward, of course, one of the greats of Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yes, the last man, of course, who coached a Rovers side to beat the Leeds Rhinos all those years ago. He was the coach then in November 1985, 16-12, their last away win here, 22 long years ago.
And what a player he was. One of the all-time greats, without any doubt. That's got to be a penalty. That's silly play. That is poor play by Morel. When you've got yourself on level terms, it has been a problem. It's okay trying to slow the game down, but to give away a penalty in that position, it happened earlier with Clint Newton. He was the culprit on that occasion. It's one thing that Justin Morgan has to do, Eddie, is to stop giving away these silly penalties.
Half an hour gone. First game of the new season. Maybe a little bit of fatigue starting to set in. This is Tupi. Now it's Burrow. Here's Maguire. Maguire goes down into the challenge again. Cocaine and Clint Newton. And big Ali Lauatiti. Lauatiti! Offloads, not the best. Gobbled up by Morel.
Well, the Leeds fans don't like that, and neither do the fact that Keith Senior has gone for a second bite. Was it a little knock on there? It wasn't the best offload. Not when you're in such a good position like that. Just getting a little bit scrappy both sides. It's winding up.
It is.
Someone's going to lose the temper here.
And when Leeds are flying in with the tackles like this, you have to be brave to take the ball forward, and that's what Michaeli Aizu is doing now. That's 4 tackles gone, and Rovers struggling to get away from their own line. Only 12 metres made forward. Cocaine goes down again on the last tackle. 17 metres forward, that's all. Webster has to shovel it wide to Walker, and Walker will hump it downfield. Underneath it, or rather on the bounce, is Brent Webb. Halted by James Webster's shoulder. Scott Donald, try-scorer for Leeds, 4 apiece.
Well, we talked about the fact that maybe fatigue was setting in this Rovers outfit, but that kick and chase showed that they've still got plenty in them.
Ali Lauatiti here. Can Brian McLennan get the best out of Ali Lauatiti? He was in the 2005 Tri-Nations victory, and here now is Danny Maguire. Oh, ball is put down. Just a little bit fancy. Lee Smith came on his inside, couldn't take the pass.
And got hammered. Boom. Boy. Ben Galea. There might be a bit of claret somewhere inside the mouth there. He didn't miss him.
Ronnie the Rhino back in business. We all are. Super League is back. Put a big red ring around the date of October the 4th, because that's when the Super League Grand Final is at Old Trafford. 27 rounds lie ahead of us. Some fierce battles. And this is a great start for Rovers. It really is.
That was a high shot as well. They got away with it.
Signalling their intent here, Hull KR tonight, so far.
Well, we thought there might be a bit of a problem with so many recruits that Rovers might just be a little bit disjointed, but they really have settled in well. They all seem to be well drilled. They know what to do with each other.
It's a massive test for them against the champions as well.
Yep.
Chester, ball on the inside, Briscoe. Good tackle. Gareth Ellis, the professional's professional. Dub over the top from Cockayne. Wasn't taken out, says Richard Silverwood.
He's been the difference. And his coach, Justin Morgan, realises that as well. He's run from dummy half. He's created all sorts of problems.
Here's Scruton. 3 around him.
This is where Leeds have got to make sure that they pack, get them into a good position. Good, hard, solid work.
Bailey, good run. Good run from Bailey. Important ankle tap that by Michaeli Azu. He was away, the big fella. Now Burrow, scampering little run. Gets it to Gareth Ellis. Ellis trying to step out of the challenge again. Couldn't do so. Cockayne hung on to him. Here is Maguire. Maguire will pump it into the corner, inviting Scott Donald to chase. Peter Fox is trying to deal with it, and does.
Ooh, dodgy. Just held on to it. Oh!
Nearly juggled away from him.
It's a big gamble when you do that, to hold the ball with one hand into the field of play. Fair credit to him, he got away with it.
Chev Walker. Back on familiar territory, of course, has had a year away from rugby league with Bath in the other code, but now firmly back with Hulkingston Rovers, and no doubt having an eye on the World Cup at the end of the season. Webster. Solid and strong defence from Leeds again. James Webster once more off the outside of the boot. But in the summer that might well find touch tonight, though, in the porridge here that's underneath the south stand. A glue pot. Webster is able to bring the ball back before he's tackled by Webster. Maguire. And here is Scott Donald again. Gets the ball away brilliantly to Diskin. He then finds Big Ali Lauatiti. Michaeli Azu, Michael Vella, all hunting him down, and Stanley Jean as well. Diskin, Sinfield and Bailey.
Pretty good defence as well by Hulkingston Rovers. Out wide, the centres are coming in on the angle. They're forcing Leeds virtually down the middle.
Good run from Diskin. Stanley Jean with the tackle there. It's his testimonial year. Here is Sinfield. Sinfield wide it goes to Tupé. And Tupé, good tackle that was by Jake Webster. Needed to be as well. Lee Smith dummy half. And Sinfield hoists the high one. Briscoe safe as houses.
What a take, and what a kick.
Well, Wigan courted Sean Briscoe. But he elected to head up to the northeast, to Hulkingston Rovers. Or rather stay in the northeast with Hulkingston Rovers. He was across the city with the black and whites last year. It's a penalty, laying on top of Daniel Fitzhenry. 3 minutes to half-time. Nick Scruton, the man who is penalised.
Just messing around there, Scruton.
I think they're all feeling the pinch.
Well, the first game of the season, it certainly takes a lot out of you. But full credit, though, to the red and whites. You know, one period for about 10 minutes, it looked as though Leeds were getting the upper hand. They were controlling things. They were making the breaks.
Azu for Rovers.
And now it's turned the tide.
Stanley Jean, Eddie, will be the threat during this set here. He is a line breaker and dangerous if he gets his hands on the ball and through the line.
They found Webster. The little gap for Webster's picked up by Briscoe. An important tackle that was by Sinfield round the ankles. This is Clint Newton. Newton then gets it away to Chris Chester. They've got the penalty. Hull KR offside against Leeds.
I'll take the 2. I'm sure that Morgan, the coach, will send a message out.
Well, the kicking tee's on its way out already.
Eddie, is it worth just at this point explaining to the viewers that it's the touch judges now who inform the referee about players being offside? The referee's job is to watch around and play the ball to make sure there's no interference or foul play there.
Yes.
And it's the touch judges who inform the referee of players who are in front of him.
Well, I know it's been drummed into the players during the course of the close season that they have to have both feet now behind or in line with the referee's front foot. It's the touch judge, as you say, one of those two guys who decides whether they're offside or not. The problem is, Phil, And we talked about this in midweek when we met up with Stuart Cummings. When they take them back 10, it's almost another yard as well, because they're all stood behind the referee.
Well, it's up to the referees to try and get as accurate as possible with what 10 metres is from the play of the ball. And just again, to go on about that point, when the ball is played by the man in possession, when it contacts his foot, that's the point in which the defenders can move forward from the referee.
Jake Webster is the man with the kicking responsibility here. They're missing Paul Cook already. No, they're not, because Jake Webster has put the Rovers in the lead. Paul Cook out suspended for the early part of 2008. They need, Justin Morgan knows they need, and there he is, Paul Cook alongside him, just behind the policeman. And, well, Paul Cook is the goal kicker in chief. And Justin Morgan, of course, is the coach. But they're ahead at Headingley. The great survivors of 2007, Hulkingston Rovers, lead the champions with a minute of the first half remaining.
And they realise that they have thrown the gauntlet down, haven't they? And full credit to them. The big question is, can they just hang on to it? This is where they'll test their nerves, and I'm sure that Justin Morgan realises, as though he's already gone into the dressing room, is that they've got to have this composure. Something that they lacked in the latter part of last year.
James Webster goes inside, senior. Good job that Lauatiti and Sinfield were there.
Interesting to see yet again how Justin Morgan is using Webster way out wide, as though it's like an extra centre.
Vela takes the last tackle this set of 6. Leeds will have 20 seconds or thereabouts. Kick just the way it lands then, it just went thump straight into the pitch. Webb will bring it back. He'll find Donald. Donald, can he get away? No, he can't. 9 seconds remaining of this first half. Webb, infield it goes to Gareth Ellis. Oof! There's the half-time siren. I tell you what, there have been some high shots in this first half again. And the supporters have been quick to see it as well. They're telling the referee what should be done about it. But the referee and touch judges, well, they've seen nothing terribly untoward. And Rovers lead at the home of the champions. The survivors of 2007 have a 2-point advantage against the champions. It's 6-4. Good start for Rovers and their supporters. 3,500 of them here tonight in this all-ticket crowd, and Justin Morgan with high hopes that 2008 might be a very special year for his club. Ben Fisher is alongside him there, and the left of your screen is Hooker, who was the player of the year last year with Michael Vela. And Ben Fisher just out with a wrist problem. Shown up in they sent him for a precautionary scan yesterday on the wrist, and it proved to be more problematic than they thought. So Ben Fisher was withdrawn. We also have mentioned, Stevo, the fact that Nick Scruton has replaced Jamie Jones-Buchanan, and Leeds perhaps missing the rumbustious runs of the big fella.
Shall we stay behind?
Without a doubt, it is. As far as I'm concerned, Brian McLennan will be very eager to get him back into the fray, because I'm afraid the Rhinos forwards really have not been able to match what has been thrown at them from the Rovers. Up front, they are taking control, some of the big guys out there, and the defensive qualities of Newton, Gallier and Morrell has been evident in that first 40 minutes.
They're missing Jamie Jones-Buchanan, a man who was ever present during Super League's campaign of 2007. This is Clinton Tupi. Jesus and Vela, the new skipper, Michael Vela. 10 times he represented his state, New South Wales, and 8 times he represented his country. Rated by many as one of the best props in Super League last year, Mick Vela.
Certainly gets through a lot of work, and that's the one thing that I'm sure Brian McLennan would have said to the Leeds outfit up front, say, come on, fellas. The forwards have to work harder. Oh, he's allowed it to bounce. They've got away with it.
They have Peter Fox taking control. Sean Briscoe simply couldn't get to it. It was a high kick from Danny Maguire. Here's Briscoe now. one of the best attacking fullbacks in this country, Sean Briscoe, England international. Let's hear from Bill, half-time news.
Well, Eddie, that kick that Sean Briscoe had to deal with, indicative of the way conditions are probably worsened here. The wind seems to have picked up and is blowing right in the faces of the Hull Kingston Rovers team at the moment, which was, I think, why that kick was so difficult for Briscoe to deal with. You have to say that this pitch has held up remarkably well. We said beforehand, it looked very soft. You've mentioned how soggy it is in front of the South Stand. Hats off to the Leeds ground staff, Jason Booth and his team. They actually spent the night here last night, camping out at Headingley to ensure that the game went ahead, just in case of any frost or snow.
Yes, well done to them, Jason Booth and his team, for their dedication. It's not his fault that we've had snow and rain and hail and all sorts. But Bill's right, the pitch is standing up very well indeed, but it is soft in parts. Halfway line, Leeds in possession with Diskin. Little run from Diskin, then he offloads it back to Sinfield. He then finds Danny Maguire, who goes up the middle. Jean got him low down. Azu finished him off up top. The Papua New Guinea double act for Rovers. Here is Gareth Ellis.
The one thing that Leeds are finding it very difficult is that they can't get to this defence of Hull Kingston Rovers, mainly due to the fact that the Rovers are not moving up quickly. They're hanging back, and therefore it's allowing Leeds to be one-out football for most of the time.
Well claimed again by Peter Fox. Was with Wakefield Trinity last year. Made his debut for the Wildcats against Hull Kingston Rovers exactly a year ago. Of course, the night that Rovers signalled their intent in 2007 when they beat Wakefield on their own midden. We were there that night. This is Fitzhenry, Daniel Fitzhenry. 6 seasons with the West Tigers.
Eddie, at this time of the season, you tend to see fewer long-range tries, and as a result, we've seen a conservative opening to this second half from Leeds, determined to try and get to the right end of the field, apply some pressure, and hoping that they will later in the game pay dividends from that. But it's been simple carries down the middle of the field, and not their expansive game that they played earlier in the first half.
Cocaine with a little chip over the top. He thought it might come up for him, but Sinfield is the man who gobbled up the possession for the Leeds Rhinos. He was trying to be inventive then, Cocaine. He's given Leeds half the length of the field here to attack with 2B.
Well, to be fair to Cocaine, he was left with no option because really there was no call for getting someone in a position to kick.
Gareth Ellis now for the Leeds Rhinos.
Just a lack of communication there. But Leeds really have to start using dummy runners, use something different, even just a little chip over the top, perhaps.
Maguire showed it and then gave it to Ali Lauatiti. Oh, what a pass off the deck from Lauatiti. Desperate defence against Brent Webb, it had to be. It's Maguire, it's Burrow, and here is Nick Scruton. And Scruton still going, and he's grounded eventually 1 metre short of the line on this, the last tackle. Diskin will try and poach one. And Diskin is held up short of the line. The turnover right on the Hull Kingston Rovers goal line.
Well, I'm not so sure that the Leeds coach, Brian McLennan, would have been happy with that, but what about the pass? Lauatiti, superb ball handling skills. Good support as well from the fullback, Brent Webb. It's going to take something very special indeed to get through the Rovers' defence.
Talking about Ali Lauatiti, he only made 1 start in 2007, and that was on the first weekend, round 1, against Salford. They went to the Willows that night, they beat Salford, but it was 5 tries apiece.
Just shows you, though, the importance now, isn't it? It's not just a 13-a-side, it is a 17-a-side. When you've got the bench players of the ability that Leeds have, but they're finding it very difficult to get through.
Kick downfield as well, picked up by Brent Webb on the full and on the fly, and he will launch the counter, Brent Webb. Joined second top try scorer in 2006, 24 tries last year. Brent Webb, the New Zealand international, another man very well known to the new coach Brian McLennan, of course. This is Leeds' 321st weekly round Super League fixture. They're 160th on home soil. They've won 2/3 of the games here at Headingley in that time. This is Lee Smith. Now he'll straighten up when past Cocaine, who went a bit high. Burrow, typical scampering run from Rob Burrow, finds Lauatiti.
Then again, you see this whole Kingston Rovers defence so solid. They're not being sucked out of the one line. They're moving as a unit. Leeds doing a lot of movement, but it's going from side to side and not forward.
Last tackle here for the Leeds Rhinos. Maguire, angled kick, awkward, but dealt with by James Webster. He was their skipper last year, relieved of the captaincy this year, James Webster. Vela taking over and dumped to the ground somewhat unceremoniously by Bailey and Diskin there.
Well, it was a poor option by Danny Maguire. Not the best kick. We saw earlier that he put one right high over the top of the floodlights, make it difficult. Why he didn't go for that option again, I'm not so sure.
Eddie, I've no doubt that Hull KR and Justin Morgan have spent time this week preparing to play against the offload game that Leeds always, whenever they can, like to operate. And really, if you look at so many of their tries last year, they have scored when a forward has somehow offloaded the ball. In the last set, you saw them bouncing around the field, keeping the ball alive. That has to be the focus when Hull KR are defending their own line.
Right, offloading there from Rovers. Here is Stanley Jean, and he keeps it alive again. Ball goes to ground, it eventually finds Briscoe. Briscoe fires it out wildly to Jake Webster. Webster then down the line for Fitzhenry to chase. Oh, he's lost it as Maguire has been picked up by Fitzhenry. 6 to go. 6 to go for Rovers.
Real pressure there. That's the reason why he spilled the football.
Here now is Ben Galea. Down he goes, but this is a glorious opportunity for Hull KR. They're 10 metres shy of the Leeds line. Cocaine, Azu.
Now remember, Cocaine with a run around created the first try for the Rovers. Can he do the same again?
Here he is, now off the deck it goes and through the arms of Webster. Vela picks up the pieces. They've lost the momentum there a bit. Still on the front foot though. Cocaine waits. That's a better pass to Webster. Short ball then from him. It's Newton, he gets the offload away. Wide it goes to Chev Walker. Walker dabs it to the in goal. That is far too deep.
Just lost his way slightly there, Chev Walker, but the opportunity was on. This is where Maguire spilt the football, squeezed it out, good pressure, just a bit too strong there by the centre Walker. But Leeds are hanging on by the fingernails at the moment.
There's Jamie Peacock. Peacock, one of the international forwards of the year in 2007. Gareth Ellis, the other British player named in the World 13. Referee wants a word now.
Well, it's pretty high, but I'm not so sure. He got him more for the grapple tackle more than anything.
Grabbing over the neck. Okay, do it again. Have a word with him, Nick. Hey, Richard.
It was the tackle around the neck that offended Mr. Silverwood.
Well, you're screaming all last season, Eddie, about this grapple tackle. There's nothing with the first impact. It's just that he does it there. Silly. Do all the hard work and give it away.
Remember all the controversy during the first game last year between Huddersfield and St Helens. Only 11 penalties here so far tonight. There was that new interpretation of the obstruction rule that was being heavily penalised in the first night by Ashley Klein. But so far tonight it's been pretty open stuff. That's a wonderful off-road from Lauatiti.
World class that.
Leeds looking to press home this advantage. Jamie Peacock tries to ride the tackle. Can he get the ball away? Yes, he can. Here it is now with Kylie Luluwai. The legs will pump. And Vela and Cocaine are there to bring him down.
Lauatiti on that short blind side on the left. No, they're coming the right way.
This is Maguire up the middle, gets the ball away to Brent Webb. Webb then finds Sinfield, and Sinfield dropped the shoulder.
Oh, what a tackle.
Get the ball away to Ellis.
Webster's down.
It's Maguire. Maguire's
Short.
Just short. Diskin. Webb. Webb dabs the ball to the in-goal area and it runs too deep. And there is a player flat out. I'm not so sure it might be Briscoe, Steve-O.
Is it Briscoe? I thought it was Webster, actually.
What a pass that was.
Superb from Lauatiti. That's a game breaker at times, but what about the tackle? Ben Cocaine has been in absolutely everything. Since he came off the bench, a move by his coach Justin Morgan that has reaped great reward for the red and white.
Major problem, I think, for the fullback. Oh, he's taken a dreadful knock. I think it was a clash of heads in the tackle. And there's another one down now. It's Michaeli Ezu who's down as the ball comes free and is claimed by Leeds Rhinos. The referee says there's the injury to Briscoe. It was an awful bang, wasn't it?
Not so sure. It may have been just a fend by Kevin Sinfield.
And the referee here has given head and feet at this resulting scrum to Hull Kingston Rovers, much to the consternation of the Leeds Rhinos fans.
If Hull KR could defend the line with that sort of organisation and commitment, though, here we see the knock-on eventually. I think it's Webb, isn't it, who just knocks it on at that point. But if Hull KR continue throughout the rest of the season with that commitment near their own line, they will find themselves in the playoffs.
And what great work by the touch judge there. You could see that Leeds fullback Brent Webb deliberately went and palmed for the football. I must say the officials tonight have been nothing short of superb. I hope I'm not speaking too early, but they've been brilliant.
Of course, the touch judge there, you see him, he is watching across the line for any offside infringements from the defending players. Needless to say, Sean Briscoe has taken a breather. Here is James Webster, and he just dropped the shoulder, went back on the inside. Rovers fans screaming for some infringement that wasn't coming. This is Chester. Oh, great ball through the legs. It's Webster again, Jake Webster. Last tackle here for Hull KR. And Chester fires the puck. Oh! Cocaine was absolutely flattened there.
Ellis put the shoulder into him, probably the pads as well. Oh, look at that! That was a bell ringer, superb. Silly play, look at that, there's a repeat of it. I'm not so sure Ellis knew what was going on. He certainly was stunned.
Meanwhile, a penalty to Leeds for interference at the play of the ball.
I mentioned in the first half, Eddie, Justin Morgan has to make sure that this side understand you don't apply so much pressure and then give it away by silly infringements like this. No doubt about it, David Mills, you've got to be thinking all the time, and that's what he'll be saying. He's furious.
Driving run from Kylie Luluai. Now Peacock. The pace has visibly upped in the last 5-10 minutes.
Certainly in the forwards. In the forwards, they're going hammer and tong at the moment. Something's got to give.
Maguire flicks the pass back. This is Carl Ablett. As you see, just on for Matt Diskett. Sinfield, the dummy half then. Maguire gives the pass to Webb. He juggles with it and finds it. This is Tupi. Tupi gets it wide, and Lee Smith is in touch. Great defence again from Rovers.
Numbers. Confused look on the face of Brian McLennan. Good quick hands, but full credit, the numbers were there. And have a guess who's in it? That man, Ben Cocaine.
Let's get down to Bill News and Sean Briscoe.
Well, he really is a remarkable character. You just have to look at his nose to know that he's broken it a few times. I honestly thought he'd done it again tonight because he came off blood oozing from that nose, which is already a pretty wonky shape. But it was just a cut. He's got a swelling below his left eye. I thought he was going to come back out. So in fact, he's coming out to warm up. He's changed his shirt. I wouldn't bet against Sean Briscoe coming back into the fray. And I tell you what, Eddie, it is a fray out there. It really is cranking up. The first game of the season, these players really are putting it in tonight.
Yeah, both coaches, Bill, were a little bit concerned that perhaps they wouldn't quite be at the races tonight because it's come very early, this match, for both teams. But boy, it's a terrific contest.
Certainly
is.
is.
Augurs well for everything we've got to come, Steve, this year.
It certainly does. And I tell you what, this whole Kingston Rovers side, they're showing to the rest of the Super League, these are the Champions Leagues. These are the ones that won the grand final last year. And he knows he's a worried man. They're being battered on both sides.
I think what we're seeing, Steve-O, aren't we, is the pressure that goes on you when you are the champions. his first game of Super League, and we knew that Hull KR would come out and perform well, because everybody tends to do that on their opening day or opening night. But the pressure on Leeds now, I just think they thought somewhere during the first half that they had Hull KR by the throat, and they were going to be able to strangle them and finish the game off. And Hull KR just have refused to lay down here. They've been very patient. In fact, if anything, they've probably been the side that's looked a little more dangerous, particularly in the second half.
When Super League's other 10 members of the family join the fray next week, Hull Kingston Rovers will play St Helens, and Leeds will play Huddersfield.
Not a bad start,
what a tackle.
Not a bad start to take on the two grand finalists from last year, and it's showing their mettle. Oh, it's a neat kick through, just a bit too strong.
It's a great kick by Stanley Jean, and the Rovers fans are complaining that Stanley was taken out as he went to chase that ball.
A bit of confusion there because of the two lines.
But it's the two lines, and also it has to be now from the middle of the field. That's the incident there where Stanley Jean and the Rovers fans thought he was being taken out.
No, there's nothing that Keith Senior could do about it. The big fellow ran straight into him. Simple as that.
Well, the other 10, as I say, they join the fray, and we've got two of the best next week. Warrington, Steve-O's tip for Super League 13 against Hull FC, and Castleford Catalans next Saturday. Friday we're at Warrington, Saturday we're at Cass. It's back.
Okay, guys,
The big game just keeps on getting better.
Certainly does, and Brian McLennan has to start changing things out there now.
That's a great ball, and this is Jake Webster, and Webster is going to go in for his second try. Hull Kingston Rovers, Jake Webster, it's 10-4. They're going crazy on the terraces. Justin Morgan just hangs on to the emotion. Jake Webster, 24 years of age, New Zealand international, second try on the home ground of the champions in the Super League.
All came about by the error, and they just stood around. That silver trophy in the boardroom may look shiny and very pretty indeed, but when you've got a guy of this quality, Jake Webster, what a step, straight through. No one's going to get anywhere near him. What an effort. A simple error, a simple mistake, and Leeds, they stopped. That's not the sign of a championship tide. You've got to be alert at all times. Heads went down, players failed to get into a position, and when the fella took a neat step, he added his second. Can he add the two?
Oh, it just scrapes in the right side of the post. Just about made it. Scott Morrell hit the post with his first one in the first half. But Rovers now have an 8-point advantage, and look at the faces on the terraces behind those posts. Rovers, they could be a force in 2008 on the evidence of what we've seen thus far tonight.
No doubt about that, especially with the quality of this fella. But I tried to make the point that Brian McLennan has got to change something, you know, just sheer hard work and getting into position where they can apply the pressure in the red zone of Hull Kingston Rovers. But what they've got to do is, Leeds was so good last year of creating tries deep from within their own half. They've got to risk it now. They've really got to show their hand. At 12-4, they've got to really put the pressure on.
It's 22 years since Rovers last enjoyed an away win on this ground. November 1985, 16-12. 10 games losing sequence at Headingley, and they are 20 and a half minutes away from ending that record.
Eddie, Leeds do know that they were the best side in Super League in the final quarter of games last season. They still have 20 minutes in which to score 2 tries and convert them. Still plenty of time here, but you can tell this is a very determined Rovers outfit.
It is. Look at the chase from that kick. Oh, but now they give away a penalty for having a second snap at the ankle again. And it's Ben Cockayne once more who has been pulled out by the referee. Just lifts the ankle there.
Oh, it's silly. It's just silly play. He knows it. He knows he's going to get a real rollicking from this fella, Justin Morgan. In a good position, there's solid defence. Found it very difficult for the Rhinos to get through. And they're giving them an opportunity. Only 8 points in it.
It's Ian Kirk again.
He's down for 2. Hold the line,
Man whose career began at Hull Kingston Rovers in 1999. Burrow. Lovely little dummy from Burrow. He manages to get the offload away as well.
3. Move, Dave! Roll feet.
Peacock plays the ball to the skipper, Sinfield. Sinfield to Keith Senior. Good offload again. Over the head of Sinfield finds Scott Donald. Donald then comes back on the inside.
4. Get, move! Hold. Go. 4.
Sinfield again. Maguire. And Webb. Webb over the top, misses out a couple. Gets the ball then to Carl Ablett. His 21st appearance for Leeds, this, and every single one of them have come off the bench. Maguire with a crossfield kick. Well claimed on that far side by Peter Fox. Well claimed by him. Under extreme pressure, a wonderful kick.
Certainly was.
Was he tackled in the air then by Scott Donald?
Well, it certainly looks it to me. That should have been a penalty. Well, that's really the first error that we've seen from the officials. Either way, you're right, Eddie. Peter Fox took that absolutely superbly. But he must be wondering what we are. Definitely touched him. Feet not on the ground.
Goal line dropout though, says referee Richard Silverwood. That's why Leeds have ball on halfway. Here comes Carly Lulawai. Big job again on hand then for the Rovers defence.
Dave McKay, stand! 1.
Sinfield. Kirk. Good strong run.
2. Release it!
But it's times like this where Leeds so often, for many, many years, have applied the pressure, and the likes of Rob Barrow have come up with something really outstanding.
Brilliant ball from Maguire. Great run from Webb. Oh, he just tried to offload it in an impossible situation.
It'll be a dropout. I don't think that's a knock-on. He's got it right. Richard Silverwood is in absolute tremendous form tonight. It hits the boot. And is kicked dead in goal by a Rovers player. But
Great forward pass. I mean, we can't... No, it looks as though it was going backwards.
Yep.
Can't really judge on camera angles.
Even more pressure.
Here they come again with Peacock.
Okay, release him! Stanley! Wait! Let's go! Jamie, from the ball!
Sinfield and Maguire to Senior. And Senior gets the ball infield to Kirk on the tackle. Kirk.
Shoulder. 2!
Down he goes on the second tackle, Ian Kirk. Burrow waits. Finds Webb. Webb up the middle. Now he gets them for offside. Oh, it's a high shot, was it?
High tackle.
High tackle, he says.
Well, they're giving Leeds plenty of opportunities.
Well, this is the third consecutive set of 6, isn't it, that they're facing?
They've upped the tempo ever since Sinfield's gone into dummy half as well.
Driving forward is Lulawai.
2! Clear!
Sinfield, there he is. Back he comes to Burrow. Burrow, chinking run, typical, great offload. Sinfield!
Desperate defence. Bengalia just got to him in time.
And that's Ellis. And Ellis gets the ball away to Sinfield. He dumps it over the top. This is Ryan Bailey. It's outstanding Rovers defence. Oh, just a minute.
That'll be a penalty.
Well, the referee shouted 4.
So it's got to be a penalty.
Ball coming out, please.
Well, we had one of these, was it last year or the year before? And I think it was Carl Kirkpatrick. And I think it was on this ground.
That's it. Ball carrying arms already at the deck. This is double movement. This will be a penalty to Rovers. It's quite clear that there's man stopping the momentum. That's the end of the tackle. This will be a penalty to Rovers.
Well, if it is, and they survive this pressure,
it's a double movement.
Hull Kingston Rovers will believe this game is in the bag.
He gets it on the line. The whitewash is all right, but this what? Bang. That's it. End of story. Phil Bentham is the video ref, but this should be a penalty to the red and whites.
Video referee tonight is Phil Bentham. What does he say? No try. He's in tune with you.
Don't look so surprised.
Well, one man who's not happy is Brian McLennan.
I think deep down he realises that the ball carrying arm certainly hit the deck. Bailey perhaps knows it too.
The last 4 minutes that he will have taken a lot out of Hull KR though in defence. To survive like that, you've said you think it may be their night. 15 minutes plus is still a long time.
Very much so. I'm not saying it's their night. I'm saying they'll think it's going to be their night. It was sensational defence, Sean, wasn't it?
They've been tremendous. We praised Leeds in the first half, Eddie, but Hull KR have been even better on their line in the second half. There's no doubt about that. This is a very important set of 6 for them. They need to control the football here. Oh, there you go. I've put the mocker on, I think. I don't think they have controlled it. It looks as though it's going to be a lead scrum.
What about that from Ablett and Ellis, though, Eddie? When you miss a chance, look, they just lifted to another level, didn't they?
Scott! Stop kicking the ball away!
Driving it backwards, being aggressive in the tackle, the ball came free, and now they get a chance again. So it's almost 5 continuous minutes here now that Hull Kingston Rovers will have to defend their own quarter.
Let's see how they cope this time then. Do they have the petrol in the tank? This is Senior. We're swarming around him, and he gets the ball away to Maguire. There's danger here for Rovers. There's still danger. That's a brilliant move. And here is Tupi. And this is Lee Smith. And Leeds are in.
Tremendous handling.
The handling skills in front of the Rovers post then were mesmerising.
Right across the line. And well finished too.
Lee Smith with the try. A try in the grand final win against St Helens. And it all came about as a result of that mistake and the wonderful tackling from Ablett and Ellis.
Michele Azu came out with the error. They kept it alive. That's one thing that the Rovers have done. They have not been sucked in, so that when the opportunity, and full credit to Danny Maguire, gets involved twice. Great offload there from Ellis. What about the last pass? Maybe a doubt, who knows? The momentum rules pretty hard. I think that's fine from that angle. Well finished by Lee Smith. He's going to be up there in the leading try scorers throughout this season. When you finish like that, this is a power kick.
Well, it is, and it's from probably the most, the softest part of the field. Oh, hits the post. 8-12, Hull Kingston Rovers still lead. Stand by for our finish to savour.
I think the thing about that try, Phil, was that even though Leeds have been able to score on the back of 4 or 5 sets, it's the hard work that they still had to do. Rovers still made them work hard to get in the corner, and only, you know, they were only just able to get in the corner, weren't they?
And I think what was really important then is what the Hull Kingston Rovers players were talking about behind the post in that minute while Sinfield lined up the kick. They needed to be very positive. They can't hope to hang on. It's too long, 12 minutes plus in a game of rugby league. They need to be positive and play well when they have the ball.
Here's Ryan Bailey. Had one try chalked off for the double movement.
Release!
The one thing that Rovers can't do, though, mentally, is just clock off and say, well, we'll have enough. We've got 4 points to lead. We can't afford to do that. We know how the quality of Leeds, especially in the 3 quarters. And it will have lifted his spirits, Danny Maguire, who was involved in it on 2 occasions that led up to that try from Lee Smith.
And it's an incredible thing when you think about it. All this momentum that Leeds have got behind them at the moment came as a result of that tackle in the air that was not seen by any of the officials. But here is Tupi, and Tupi's broken the line. Oh, off the hands of Burrow.
He's bummed it. Back on the inside. Danny Maguire thought that it wasn't. And that is sheer panic. That's all you can put it down to. Sorry, mate. Wonderful effort there by Tupi. Through the dummy, had the break. He got himself in the right position. Perhaps it should have gone to Smith. He opted for Rob Burrow, who thought he was going to hit the century mark. He's on 99 career tries.
Yes, he was 1 away from 100 for Leeds, and he still is 1 away from 100 for Leeds. The little scrum half who was Great Britain's man of the series against the Kiwis last year.
You know, I bet Clinton Tupi'd like to throw that pass again. That was just far too hard. That was just a bad ball. He'd be the first to put his hand up. We always say Rob Burrow might have been able to catch it. That was a tough ball to take.
Certainly was, but I think you'd have to agree, though, Sean, that Lee Smith was in a better position. Just a little up ball, he would have gone straight through.
Yeah, it's just a little drop-off there to Lee Smith. I don't know whether he gave Clinton Tupi the information. That's what we don't know, whether he called the ball or not. Clinton Tupi probably knew that Rob Burrows was there all the time.
And your Leeds reaction to a disappointment is amazing. Look, they had the try disallowed for Bailey. They responded well. They've missed that chance. And again, the defence has been outstanding in those 4 tackles.
Yes, it has. And Rovers, well, they're trying to get the ball over the halfway line at the end of this set of 6.
It's not easy.
They can only do that now with the kick.
The one thing they've got to do, Justin Morgan has got to say, right, we'll get downfield, we'll get the defensive, but what you cannot do is give away a silly penalty. You can't afford to give the Rhinos another 40 or 50 metres downfield.
Let's go.
Here comes Tupi again.
Do the defence, but get away, and you can see there that they're still at it. Chris Chester could have been penalised. He was hanging around in the tackle.
Well, I don't know how superstitious you all are, but the last 3 opening Super League games of the season have been won by the team playing away from home. It's a penalty here to Leeds, though.
Well, I said the one thing that they didn't want to do, and Ben Galea looks at the touch judge on this near side. I think he's reefed it. Look at that. He's dragged the arm across.
What a chance for Leeds. This is Peacock.
They're going to gift this game to the Rhinos by silly penalties.
Diskin finds Burrow. Burrow then to Maguire. Maguire to Webb. Quick hands. Ellis has hung on to it somehow. Gets the ball away. Maguire still has it. Well, it's all going Leeds' way at the moment.
I'll go
Apart from on the scoreboard.
Rob Burrow will go on the little throw of the dummy, go right underneath the sticks. Sinfield's going to be first receiver, I feel.
Lautiti, back to Burrow. Burrow then to Webb. Stretching them. Webb with a dab. It's a knock-on, though. It's a knock-on by Jake Webster.
Webster says he was facing his own sticks. Be interesting to see this. Did that go backwards? I think it did. He's livid.
What on earth is he doing?
He's not a relative. Before you say anything, he is not related to me in any shape or form.
Can I tell you, it is -2 degrees centigrade, and he's stripped off to the waist. Here's Sinfield. Here now is Maguire. Maguire gives it to Senior, and Fox flew out of the line and missed it. There were reinforcements waiting. Donald to Maguire. The momentum you think now is with Leeds, but can Hulkingston Rovers hang on? Peacock offloads to Gareth Ellis. Ellis then to Tupi. Tupi back inside. Gets the ball away somehow to Diskin. Diskin then to Bailey. And Bailey still short. Was that a knock-on? Was that a play the ball? Was that a phony play the ball? This is Burrow. Great defence from Vallett.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Lautiti. Big Ali. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men around him. Last tackle. Can OKR survive another set here?
Dinking to the in goal.
There it is from Maguire. The ball's come free. It's a try.
Sinfield scored. He'll be given this.
Offside.
All that pressure. This will be given, and I think Kevin Sinfield knows it. They have stolen this game and put that down. No one's offside. That is fine. That's play on. The video referee, Phil Bentham, he'll be happy with that. It's quite clear. They're all behind the kicker. Ben Galea, I think it is, that makes a real meal of it. It comes off the leg, and Sinfield comes from behind Brent Webb, and that, folks, is try time. right in front of the sticks. He just completely misses it.
Did Lee Smith get to it first? Yes, I think he did, Steve-O.
Either way, it's a try. It doesn't matter. He's going to be a Leeds player.
Yes, it's Lee Smith's hand on it first.
Doesn't matter.
Sinfield confirms.
You have to have some sympathy for Hull Kingston Rovers, because I think you picked it to play the balls earlier. Ryan Bailey got up, and I think it was an illegal play the ball from Leeds. They've got away with it if this decision goes their way.
I think it's going their way. I think there's any doubt about that. Kevin Sinfield's already lining up the conversion attempt. Lee Smith. Lee Smith. Will it be a second try? It is. And Leeds play the get-out-of-jail card on Super League 13's opening night.
Well, a few moments ago, Lee Smith thought he was going to get the inside ball from Clinton Toofy. It went to Burrow, it went to ground.
Sinfield adds the extras, and Leeds are ahead for the first time since the opening quarter of an hour. 14-12. It's a cruel game, this. The 50-50 calls have just gone against Hull Kingston Rovers. Was it an illegal play the ball or attempt by Ryan Bailey? He's not worried, he's on the blower. He's telling everybody what's happening here at Headingley. And remember, way over in the far corner, which got the momentum behind the Leeds Rhinos, that tackle in the air on Peter Fox. Little calls have gone against Rovers in the closing stage of this match.
Spot on, Eddie.
I think the point, though, as well, is they're not out of the game. It's only 2 points. We're talking as though the Leeds Rhinos have now won. Sure, they've got the momentum, but it only takes one error here, one drop ball. You've got to go hunting for it. You've got to put pressure on the kick. You come up with an error, you get field position, you're able to open up the play again. If the problem that Hull have had all this half is had very little field position.
But they could have had field position only by the fact that they've given away silly penalties at a time when they should have controlled it.
Peacock, magnificent run. Maguire, Toupé, space wide for Lee Smith. Dug down the line for Smith to chase. Fitzhenry is their fine touch. It's going to be a 20-metre restart. The optional kick. They take it.
He's not happy. He's not happy, Brian McLennan. He wanted to just camp down there to make sure that they put a dink into the in-goal area. Try to get a second set of 6. You've got to admire the way that Hull Kingston Rovers, though. They just desperate defence.
Just cracked, didn't they? Just cracked at a vital moment, maybe. But you're right, Sean McRae spot on. 5 minutes to go. Let's get Rovers injuries news now. Here's Bill.
Eddie Jake Webster, 2 tries to his name tonight, is on the sidelines, and I think, in fact, he's played a lot of this game carrying a knock. Now, the Rovers bench won't let on exactly what the problem is, but very early on in the game, he went down and had a bang, waved away the physio, but it hasn't looked totally convincing, and he's finally had to come off. So if he has battled through with an injury, it has been a great debut for him.
Absolutely, it's been a great debut. Even so, it'd be made even better, of course, if Rovers were to win this. It's an interesting kick, and Smith, Cocaine just couldn't get to him. Smith did really well. Smith does brilliantly well. He's fantastic run. He's got Webb in support. He gets it back, does Lee Smith. What a fantastic effort.
That's a game winner as far as I'm concerned. And he knows it too. As soon as he got the ball back from Webb, he made sure he was going to make sure that the possession was going to be Leeds. They can now control it. Get field position. That'll be a penalty.
Penalty here.
Yeah. The rule states
they've conceded another penalty, Hull Kingston Rovers, but I think Kevin Sinfield's pass in field, I think it was about a half a metre forward, you know.
Certainly looked that way, but either way...
Look at this. That's forward. Yep. As I say, the little 50-50s...
They've got the rub of the green.
Have gone against Rovers.
But there again, I still maintain, Justin Morgan will look at the tape after this and say, that's if they lose. They say that the biggest problem is that we get down into the Leeds half and we give away silly penalties.
And here's another one in their own half, right underneath the sticks for a high challenge.
They'll go for the 2, surely.
Well, they spurned it a moment ago.
I think the problem with the two, Steve-O, is that it doesn't take enough time up on the clock. It enables them to have a kick-off and perhaps get a short kick-off option. I think if they want it, I think Leeds just want to try and run the clock down and maybe score a try.
They want to try and win the match, and Bailey is going to do that.
No, it's short.
It is short. Well, hang on, the referee now isn't convinced. Well, Bailey is celebrating. Leeds are celebrating.
He celebrated last time.
He did.
He's short here. Short. Thank you. Short.
Well, if he plonks it over the line here...
He's short and he's moved it. Is that a double movement?
It's another double movement.
It's play the ball, isn't it?
It's not dry. It should be. It should be.
I think he's been moved by the whole KR play. I don't think they'll do a double movement here. I think it'll be play the ball, won't it?
Yeah. But he's short.
I agree with you. He's short.
I mean, he's not short in stature.
6'5", but he's, yes.
It's a good effort. Boom.
Well, he's well short, and you think that it's the whole Kingston Rovers defenders who are dragging him towards the line.
You can see the player there, I don't know, I can't quite work out who that is coming over the top. Is it Ben Galea? Well, you see him now, he drags him. He drags him over. His momentum, his hold of the plate, and it drags him forward.
Play the ball. That's
but
what
I don't think he's hit the line anyway, so I don't think that's an issue. It'd be an interesting decision if he did go over the line.
Play the ball.
Well, maybe he should have a look at it at normal speed.
Here we go. He's worked hard though, Bailey.
I think
the
that
last
could be
15
given.
minutes.
Looking at that could be given.
No. Momentum stopped already.
77 minutes into the new season, and already you are tossing a coin, and who would be a video referee?
Well, I don't think Ryan Bailey has made any effort, has he?
His momentum stops here, right? Bang, stop. And if it's pushed over after that...
Well, it's a try if he's on the line, but yeah. I think he's short.
I think he's short.
But it doesn't matter what we think, it's what Phil Bentham thinks that counts. What's his decision? Not given. Third tackle attack, it's play the ball. Well, you were right.
Well, it's another week I don't need to get glasses. I had been thinking about it for a while, though.
Well, the seconds are ticking away. They'll just try to plunder it here.
Diskin is the dummy half for Leeds. Bailey looks again. No. Gives it to Maguire. Maguire hauled down. Last tackle. I wonder if they'll take a 1 point.
No, they'll just camp down there, Eddie.
Burrow. Up in the air. Ball is all over the shop. Ooh, and Keith Senior nearly touched down. It's a goal line dropout, this.
And that should secure the game for them. Neat option, kicking to the corner. They're trying for that new rule to try to get the...
Bailey picks it up. Has a look at the post. Been denied twice by the video referee this evening. 2 minutes remaining. 2 points the difference. Bailey in no hurry. Trying to wind the clock down. Here goes Nick Scruton.
Release it!
Now it's with Diskin. Diskin attacking, looking for a penalty, not comes. This is Ellis, not tackled. Now he is. 1.5 minutes remain. Diskin. Leeds looking to wrap this up. What a surprise, what a shock they've had tonight, though. Maguire. Senior.
It's at that time now that the Rovers, they've got to risk it, they've got to go for an intercept. Come out of the line.
Maguire down the short side.
Yep.
Maguire touches down for Leeds and wins the match. Brian McLennan now is wreathed in smiles. And so are the Leeds Rhinos. They have been shaken to the core here, the champions. They have had to dig very, very deep for this victory. And dig deep they have. Maguire wraps it up. Leeds Rhinos win on Super League's opening night.
Quick thinking, works on the blind side, feel the dummy, seals it all up. It has been a wonderful effort by Hull Kingston Rovers. The defence in the second half, how they've got back in numbers is beyond belief. He's a happy boys, Maguire. They found it tough going of the 3 quarters on the Leeds outfit, but they've come up trumps. They've had all the possession in the latter part of this second half, and that has proved the downfall of the red and whites, who must be thinking to themselves, how on earth have we lost this game?
It's the 130th career try for Danny Maguire tonight, and Brian McLennan has got off to the best possible start as far as he's concerned. He's got off to a win.
He'll be absolutely delighted. I think the thing that his team has shown is they probably haven't been at their best, but then again, that might be disrespectful to Hull KR, who I think have played exceptionally well.
3 tries from Leeds, Sean, in the last quarter of an hour of this match.
Well, I'd love
Phil mentioned they've got the best finishing power in the Super League.
And they've certainly started the 2008 Super League, haven't they, in exactly the same way.
Sinfield has found the mark with the boot. It's 20 points to 12. Leeds Rhinos championship defence is up and running.
Sorry, Eddie, I was just going to say I'd love to see a stat of time in possession this half, and also, you know, if we had something available on field position, the number of sets, because you just get a feeling that Leeds would be so dominant in that, and that Hull KR have just struggled throughout this second half in terms of field position.
Danny Maguire has brought a big smile to the face of his coach. It was a wonderful effort from Hull Kingston Rovers, but Leeds are not champions for nothing. They were 12-4 down with around about an hour of the game to go, and then Smith's 2 tries, followed by the Danny Maguire try late on, seals a 20 points to 12 victory. And Ryan Bailey, of course, denied by the video referee on 2 occasions. But Leeds are delighted to get the new regime up and running with a victory. But I think the message to the rest is that, first of all, Leeds will be very difficult to beat this year, and second of all, Hull Kingston Rovers are going to shake a few feathers. Don't think there's any doubt about that at all. Let's hear from the new coach, the man in charge at Leeds. There he is, Brian McLennan. Don't go too far, Brian, because Bill's going to talk to you.
Brian, a first one under your belt, but probably indicative of just how tough this season is going to be, because every side is going to try that against you.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I think it shows how Hull KR are going to go too. They were great, you know, and it took a really big effort by our lads to build up some pressure over the last 20 minutes of the second half.
Were you getting a bit twitchy?
I was worried in the first half. You know, I thought our guys looked a bit fatigued. You know, we have had a tough week building into it, but gee, you know, everyone can hold their heads up high because they finished strong. You know, and that was a great effort by the boys tonight.
For a first game of the season from both sides, massive effort, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was, and as you said, Eddie, you know, I think that's set the tone for the season, and I think all the clubs in the Super League are going to have some big games.
Thanks, Brian. Well done tonight. Let's bring the skipper in, Kevin. And well, what a game to start the season with. I mean, probably, you know, you've got a bit of work to do on possibly getting into match fitness. Didn't hang around.
Yeah, tough one first up. Hull KR much improved this year. I mean, they knocked us off last year, so we know what they're capable of. Signed some great players, and you know, we had to show a bit of character to bring it back in the end, and thankfully we did. You know, we worked pretty hard pre-season, and we had a good game in Florida last week, so it's, you know, to get back to this weather and come up with 2 points is very pleasing.
And do you think that was possibly an indication of how tough this season is going to be, defending this title?
Definitely, yeah. I think whether you're defending it or playing in it, all 12 sides are very strong. All 12 sides have recruited well and got great coaching staff, and the levels are just going to get better and better, and people have been saying that, you know, all in the off-season, and it showed it tonight. If you don't turn up ready to play, you'll get beat.
Thanks, Kevin.
Cheers, Bill.
So there we are, Leeds Rhinos championship defence is up and running with a victory, but it was a hard-fought win, 20 points to 12. Hull Kingston Rovers gave them a real scare when they were 12-4 up, but Leeds, well, they are resilient, aren't they? They are a resilient side, there is no question about that. And just as last year when St Helens were the reigning champions, they came through their opening night test with flying colours, so too of the Leeds Rhinos. And I just feel a touch sorry for Rovers, because 1 or 2 little decisions went against them, and it could have changed the complexion of the game.
Perhaps they did, but again, looking back at that play of the ball with Ryan Bailey, I think probably it was the right decision by the official. And whatever the 50-50 decisions, when things went against Leeds, the way that they responded and reacted in defence, really, I think that exemplified why they are the champions and the reigning champions, because they can deal with adversity and setback and maybe at times a wrong call from a referee, but respond in a positive way that means that they actually get better over the next few minutes. They don't feel sorry for themselves and start to sulk and think that the decision's gone against them. The only thing we can do here now is hit so hard in defence, we get the ball back quickly.
And that's exactly what they did. They showed their mettle. They're champions, Steve-O. It'll take a good side to knock them off.
Oh, they're a very good outfit, and I'm sure that the new coach, Brian McLennan, will be a little bit concerned in many ways, because I must say this Hull Kingston Rovers defence was very solid, but it just shows you, in any sport, you've got to make sure that you take your advantage of it. Now, this is the incident where they play the ball. I think it's fine, because he was being interfered by Chester there, so the referee said, I'll give it a play on, and it came about, and of course, Lee Smith finishes up just getting there before Sinfield did. It was a good kick there by Maguire, and it shows you that this Leeds outfit, if you give them plenty of room and plenty of possession, and that's what occurred in the final 20 minutes, they just battered away at the Hull Kingston Rovers line. But the one thing that Justin Morgan has to do about this Rovers outfit, they were plucky today, they played very, very well, and at times they overshadowed this Leeds outfit. But the one thing they've got to do is make sure of not giving away those silly penalties. That really hurt them in the second half.
Yes, it did, but Leeds have won. Now, live Spanish football with Almeria against Real Madrid. That's over on Sky Sports Extra right now, followed closely by Betis against Deportivo at 9. That's also on Sky Sports Extra. Plus, a reminder of the action coming up live in the early hours. The A1 Grand Prix with the Sydney race days from 3 a.m, Sky Sports 1. And cricket, the first one-dayer, Australia taking on India, also at 3 a.m. on Sky Sports 2. Now, in case you don't know, the Super League is back, and on Wednesday night we'll be live in the studio in London with our Boots and All programme, 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. All the gang will be there. And next weekend we've got Warrington Hull on Friday, Castleford Catalan Dragons on Saturday. That's the menu for next week. It's been 11 weeks. We're delighted to be back. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Sinfield gives it to Senior. Senior gets it away to Scott Donald. And Scott Donald with the first try of the new year. Cocaine flicks the pass, takes the return. Ball comes back and they're over on it. Is it Webster? Short side! Maguire touches down for Leeds and wins the match. Brian McLennan now is wreathed in smiles.